News coming into us here, and we will pursue this, of course, here this morning at talkSPORT. Simon, Tottenham Hotspur, of course, looking for a new manager.
Yeah.
They need a manager to come in to replace Jose Mourinho. And now it's our understanding here this morning at talkSPORT that Tottenham are in talks to bring back Mauricio Pochettino. That is the latest, that Tottenham are in talks over bringing the former manager Mauricio Pochettino back to Tottenham. Of course, Pochettino himself in France with Paris Saint-Germain, but he's just lost Ligue 1 to Jose Fonte's Lille.
Lost in the Champions League to Manchester City.
And of course, he lost in the Champions League to Manchester City. So that's hot off the press.
The bland leading the bland, that is, I'm afraid. You know, Daniel Levy going backwards to someone that left for good reasons and nothing's changed. I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised that Pochettino will go and take a job like PSG. He can't cut it there. Can't cut it at PSG. Hasn't cut it there. You know, we talk about Tuchel walking through the door. He has cut it. One guy walks out of PSG, walks into Chelsea, rocks him into a Champions League final, gets him to an FA Cup final, and ultimately puts him into the Champions League spot. Another guy goes the other way and doesn't do it, and he's coming potentially to Tottenham Hotspur.
So this would be the wrong move, you think?
I think it's the bland leading the bland.
But Pochettino's got unfinished business at Tottenham.
Well, very rarely do you go back somewhere and make it work. And he may well have unfinished business because he didn't win anything. And he hasn't won anything of any significance since he's gone to France. I think he won the French Cup, so I've got to give him some credit where credit's due. But the fact of the matter is he had a Tottenham side in their pomp, the best group of players that Tottenham have had probably in 15, 20, 30 years, and he still managed to steal defeat from the jaws of victories in semi-finals and Champions League finals. And even in the league, with respect to Leicester, when Tottenham had a better squad than Leicester, still couldn't win that title. So, look, you know, if I say the bland leading the bland, I think Daniel is low-balling this one. I think Tottenham have moved on and they need a different direction. But I'm sure Tottenham fans will have a different view because they love Pochettino, didn't they?
So we're going to react to that. The news just into us here at talkSPORT that Tottenham are in talks to bring Mauricio Pochettino back to the football club. All this, of course, at just about 12 or 14 hours after we find out that Antonio Conte is out of Inter Milan and that Zinedine Zidane is out of Real Madrid. Tottenham, will they do it? Will they bring Pochettino back? Is that something Tottenham fans that you would want to see? What we are doing is trying to gauge reaction from Tottenham fans as to whether or not would that be a good idea. You think not. You think that's a U-turn that isn't worth taking. But certainly some of the Tottenham fans, Tim, the Spurs fan, Tim, good morning to you. It would be great if Pochettino comes back, but he needs to be back massively. If I'm honest, I'd rather have Conte. But if Poch comes back, I would be happy. Chanty, the Spurs fan, Chanty, good morning to you. I would be overjoyed to have Poch back. However, the style of play under him compared to what we've been dealing with lately is hands down incomparable. At least the football is enjoyable to watch. That cannot be denied. But anyhow, bring back Pochettino. What do you think? Tottenham fans, are you ready for the return of Pochettino? 08717 223344 810 89. If you want to message us, we'll read out as many as we can. But Simon, how do you view it? Conte's on the market. He doesn't want to be out of football for long. Nor does Zidane, presumably. No. What does Pochettino tell us? Is that a lack of ambition by Levy?
When people say they want Pochettino back, they have to remember what the Pochettino that they last saw was someone that was putting his side 14th in the league, a disparate Pochettino that didn't have the same energy that the guy that maybe in their mind's eye they remember. In the mind's eye, the Pochettino that came out of Southampton all of a sudden had this pep in his step with Tottenham that had a great deal of energy. The players were all playing in a certain way. Kane was on blob, as he often is. Dele Alli was going full pelt. Carl Walker was there. Danny Rose was in his pomp at the time. Everybody was going. The two centre-halves were in good nick at the right age. Everything looked good for Tottenham. Then close your eyes and look at the Pochettino that left. Right, that's the Pochettino that you should remember the best because that's the one that left and has gone off to PSG and is clearly in a situation with PSG where things aren't right there. Now, we often hear that spiritual homes and you go to the clubs that you used to play for and everything's made up for you and the stars align. We were told that about PSG and Pochettino was going home to some extent. Okay, not Argentina, but a club that he'd played for. And it's inconceivable to understand that a club that's got huge wealth to go to that has with an opportunity to be able to build a side with a great deal of support after 6 months is something that's already looking very rocky to such a point as to go back to somebody that he wasn't getting on with a club that doesn't seem to have a lot of money, that won't really back him in the same way unless it's going to be a real sell of Harry Kane, and that's going to be the driving force behind the economics of how Tottenham rebuild themselves. But the unfortunate thing for Spurs fans, they may want to live amongst the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and in Narnia, but they ain't getting Conte. He's not coming to Tottenham. If he's walking out
why is he not?
Because if he's walking out of Inter Milan, where he's just won Serie A because he can't get the support, or they've got to cut their cloth accordingly, why would anybody think that he's going to walk into Tottenham Hotspur when you've got to deal with Daniel's way of operating, which is about the economics of the business? They've got a stadium that they're funding. They've got a squad that's depleted. They've got their best striker potentially wanting to leave, irrespective whether he can or he can't. All of that doesn't look like, the ideal fit for Antonio Conte. And the same thing for me looks like Zidane. I don't see Zidane jumping from Real Madrid into Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, do you think that, the man at the top at PSG, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, do you think he is reacting to the fact that Conte is on the market, or maybe Zidane is on the market? Zidane, possibly. You can see him at PSG.
Possibly, yeah. Ultimately, PSG is a different project than Real Madrid. And Pochettino has been there for 5 minutes, and it seems like an incredible set of circumstances where you've already got doubts, because Pochettino wouldn't be coming back to Tottenham Hotspur if everything was rosy in the garden at PSG, because it wasn't rosy in the garden at Tottenham. Daniel hasn't changed and won't change the principles. Maybe Tottenham do need to polish, because they've got this brand that they've built. They've got this £1 billion stadium, and they thought they were on the precipice of elevating Tottenham back to the stage of front and centre.
Exactly. That's why I think Conte, of course, would fit the bill, more than fit the bill there.
Well, I think so too. But unless there's going to be a sea change, and we can never rule this out, unless we're suddenly missing something and Daniel's had a personality change, he's gone into a changing room like Mr. Ben and come out as Daddy Warbucks, right, and decided he's going to throw money around, right, then there's not going to be much of a change at Tottenham, isn't there?
Exactly. A lot of people in the YouTube conversation this morning are trying to say to us, guys, it's staring you in the face, Conte's going to head to Real Madrid. Well, we shall see, won't we? But what about Tottenham and the news this morning that Tottenham have restarted talks to bring Mauricio Pochettino back to the football club? John, good morning. Big Tottenham fan. What do you want to say to that?
Can we really get any worse than bringing Pochettino back?
So, any worse than bringing Pochettino back?
Yeah, because you think we had Mourinho in, one of the most successful managers to walk the planet.
Yeah.
And we did nothing. Conte's not going to come to Spurs in a million years. Zidane, again, not going to come to Spurs in a million years. Who does that leave? It leaves Roberto Martinez, who was a failure at Everton, and Graham Potter at Brighton, what's his credentials? If we bring Pochettino back, would the likes of Kane and Ali and Son, Hugo Lloris, would they stay? Probably.
Would you say Potter's credentials were no more or no less than Pochettino's coming from Southampton, though?
Not really, but look at the style of football that we played. Yeah.
Look at the style of Brighton. Brighton are a very good footballing side. They don't have good enough strikers to capitalise on their play.
They are, but you got to think as a player. You should know, Jordan. As a player, if you want to sign a top player and you say your manager is Graham Potter, or your manager is argument's sake Pochettino or Mourinho, who would you play for?
How did that stop Arsene Wenger then from signing Dennis Bergkamp? Because no one ever heard of Arsene Wenger when he rocked through the door.
That's right.
But it was Arsenal, wasn't it?
And this is Tottenham.
You could have Graham Potter at United, and United would sign anybody because. Well,
John, let's melt it down then. Zidane's available, it would seem. Conte, we know, is available, and now Tottenham said to be in talks with Pochettino this morning to bring him back to the football club. Of those three, who do you want in at Tottenham?
I would like Zidane. Not a chance of getting him. We wouldn't be able to afford him, and two, he wouldn't be able to work with Levy. He'd probably clash with Levy.
So in an ideal world, you'd want Zidane?
In an ideal world, yes. But Zidane's one of these managers that wants to throw money about.
Like
Levy wouldn't let that.
Like all of them.
Okay, John, listen, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. So many calls coming in. Jason, big Tottenham fan. You've been waiting for a while. Morning, Jason.
How you doing, fellas? Great to be on. Thanks for having me.
No, pleasure. What do you want to say, mate?
I think it's a bad move. I don't think that in terms of being a Spurs fan. I think it's a bad move for Poch. I just think to go free transfer windows without any any players coming in. We had the squad we had at the time when we could have won the league or challenged with Leicester. And anything Levy says to him, surely, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, it's just going to end the same way again, because they're not going to splash the money, especially after COVID as well. Any manager that takes that job is in for a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So I couldn't even tell you who I would want at the club.
You couldn't even tell us. I mean, there's mixed feelings, Jason, about Pochettino. If it is indeed the case that he is close to coming back, Dale Hammond on Twitter, hope it's true. But if he comes back, Levy has to back him in the transfer markets. There seems to be so many ifs and buts and conditional to this and conditional to that. I mean, basically, deep down, Jason, do you want Pochettino back at your club?
I think deep down, in terms of nostalgic, absolutely. I mean, we got to the final of the Champions League, albeit our league form that season was absolutely. But I'm 33 years old. I've never seen us get to a European final, and as much as it was pretty bad, 30 seconds in it was over. It was still a memory that we'll have. But I can't see any manager coming in there and getting the money they need to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. So it doesn't matter who gets the job, because I think it'll be the same result. I think they just won't get the backing.
Okay, Jason, thank you very much indeed. Well, of course, we began at 10 o'clock this morning, Simon, reacting to the news that Manchester United had lost a European final, the Europa League final last night in Gdansk, Poland, 11-10 on penalties. What now for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Is he the man United fans want to take United into next season? And now it's rather been eclipsed by the news coming out of Tottenham this morning that Tottenham said to be in talks to bring back Mauricio Pochettino. You having that? Wow, another morning shaping up.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning 10 till 1 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.